Hold on. Oh. Sorry. Let's get it. Oh, we got a brand new can up in this mug. Everybody hit the like, hit the like, hit the like. Oh.
Hey, so I'm calling your show, 'cause I need to know. Show me which way to go before I throw my man out the door.
Okay, hold on a second, Keisha. Just let me ask Ronald exactly what's going on, because it takes two to tango, and I need to hear his side of the story.
There we go.
We seem to fuss and fight every day and every night. Please give some advice so we can see the light. See the light.
I just don't know.
Hello, brains. I talk about neurodiversity a lot on this channel, in panels, at talks, but what exactly does neurodiversity mean? Neurodiversity. Now,
This is
the
too
concept
much.
that there is natural things work differently. Neurodiversity exists, just like diversity exists in ethnicity, gender, and sexual orientation. Those of us with ADHD, dyslexia, dyscalculia, dysgraphia, Tourette's, those who are neurotypical, and those who are autistic all have brains that are hardwired to work and learn differently. And even brains within each group are wired differently and have a spectrum of abilities. And while we can sometimes learn to mask those differences are still going to exist. And trying to pretend they don't, or being told that they shouldn't, often comes at a high cost to our sense of self and our mental and physical well-being. Often putting our brain's operating system at higher risk for the mental health equivalent of malware, such as anxiety or depression, which is why the neurodiversity movement exists. The neurodiversity movement is a social movement historically led by autistic self-advocates and other neurodivergent activists, advocating for the acceptance of the autism spectrum as reflecting natural variations in the human brain rather than a disease that needs to be cured. This movement has grown within the autism community as well as to other neurodivergent folks. Hi, I have ADHD. While neurodiversity advocates might disagree on some things, and I obviously can't speak for everyone, there are a few key assumptions within the neurodiversity paradigm. 1. Neurodiversity exists. Different brains work differently and have distinct strengths and weaknesses. 2. Neurodiversity is valuable. Differences in how our brains work allow us to come at things from different perspectives, have vastly different skill sets, and accomplish more than we could if everyone's brain worked the same way. 3. The potentially disabling challenges that those of us who are neurodivergent face aren't necessarily inherent to our brain's differences, but often a result of the social and physical environment neurominorities exist within, which is highlighted perfectly in a blog post about the concerning condition called neurotypicality, written from an autistic perspective. The blog, which is satire, presents a world in which neurotypical brains are the neurominorities and discusses how odd those brains would seem and the challenges they would face in an autistic world. A personal example, I'm very nearsighted. If I didn't live in a society that provided glasses and contacts, I would be disabled. The neurodiversity movement is a bit controversial in that it upends some of how we've thought about these things for a really long time. But most of the criticisms of the neurodiversity movement seem to come from misunderstandings of what it actually is. A lot of critics of the neurodiversity movement argue that viewing autism as just a natural variation implies that autistic people don't need any support. But in response to this criticism, one autism researcher and advocate explains it well. Neurodiversity advocates generally consider autism to be both a natural variation and a disability. Advocates therefore concurrently campaign for acceptance and respect for autistic people as valuable members of society, and also fight for appropriate support and services to meet the needs of the autistic community. And the same is true of most ADHD advocates. We recognize that life is hard for us, and there are times where it would be easier to not have ADHD. But a lot of what we struggle with is because of environmental and social factors, and can be mitigated through creating social and physical environments that account for and accommodate neurodiversity. That doesn't mean we reject medical treatment. As a neurodiversity advocate with ADHD, I'm working toward a world that recognizes, appreciates, and accommodates neurodiversity. I also am a therapist and take meds. Acceptance of my brain's differences and support for the challenges I face are not mutually exclusive. In fact, they both work toward the same goal, a better quality of life. As I've mentioned a couple of times.
Well, here we go. Here we go. It's Monday, and the voice of reason. I'm not going to be playing with y'all. See, neurodiversity is a new term, basically, right? It's the politically correct term. And it may be an umbrella term for BDP, quiet BDP, borderline personality disorder, ADHD, autism. The numbers for autism has been rising in terms of diagnoses for adults in recent years. And the reason why I'm doing this topic is because of Amanda Seales, who, and I'm not going to get into whether or not she has ADHD, whether or not she has autism or not. I'm not going to get into that because people on the internet are really grilling her about what she said, and I'm not going to get into that. But she does shed light. Her conversation on Club Shay Shay has shed light on the neurodiverse community. And the numbers are crazy, right? They say 1 to 4% of people in America are neurodiverse, but those are people who are not under the instruction or under the tutelage or guidance or care of a psychologist or a psychiatrist. They do say that for those people, it's 20%. And they say the majority of those people who are in the care of a psychologist, the majority of those people are women. Now, I'm not here, like I said, to validate or invalidate her claim of being autistic. But let me ask the question. The neurodiverse partner, are they relatable, dateable, and thus mateable? Why is that a question? Because of Amanda Seales' discussion, people saying, oh man, she's beautiful, she's successful, and she's 42. Why doesn't she have a man? Well, when we start looking at the symptoms, right, that come with maybe ADHD, the symptoms that maybe come with BDP, the symptom, whether it's borderline personality disorder or bipolar disorder, the average person Let's just go back. Carl Jung said people will do absolutely anything, no matter how absurd it may be, to avoid looking at themselves. These are the people that are considered the opposite of neurodiverse, which is neurotypical, right? Neurotypical. Just a fancy word for, which is now a bad word in this politically correct society, normal people, right? So, right, neurotypical, right, versus neurodiverse. It's difficult for quote unquote neurotypical people to even look at themselves. Neurotypical people don't even understand that relationship is the supercomputer of you, right? How you get revealed to you is through relationships. Now, do I believe neurodiverse people are not revealed in the mirror of relationship? Absolutely not. But how do we deal? How do we deal with those people? Right? How do you maintain a healthy relationship with someone that is neurodiverse? How do you cultivate healthy boundaries? Right? Listen, what is quiet BPD? That's almost like covert narcissism. Not saying it's the same diagnosis. I'm just saying first it was just a narcissist. Then it turned into grandiose narcissism. Then it turned into covert narcissism. First it was BDP, or BPD. Now it's quiet BPD. True or false? Neurotypical partners tend to feel like their partner isn't willing to try harder or doesn't care enough. Neurodivergent partners tend to feel like their partner doesn't have enough patience and or is difficult to please. Listen, and this is because two different brains are trying to interpret the same information within the relationship. What are the problems that come with neurodiverse relationships? Can you be with someone who is high functioning and like a high functioning BPD that has high functioning BPD? Can you be with someone who has high functioning autism? Let's go even deeper. Can you be with somebody that has PMDD? I say, what is PMDD? It's a severe type of, PMS, premenstrual syndrome. Severe type, though, where the person transforms once a week or once a month, a week before their period, emotionally dysregulated. Can say, do any, just wild out. Totally different person. Werewolf style, lichen style, just turn into somebody else. See, this is why I have these conversations, because the reality of it is we play too much with relationships. A lot is to be revealed in the relationship. But guess what? There are so many other mental health issues, familial issues, attachment style issues. There's so many moving parts to relationships. We should not walk in all willy-nilly, right? So when I hear, no disrespect to Shannon Sharp, Uncle Shay, no disrespect to the brother, but the assumption is because she's successful, she should also be successful in the world. She should also be able to find somebody. Because she's beautiful, because she's successful, because she's accomplished, she should be able to find somebody. Why at 42? And I'm not saying Shannon Sharp said this. I'm just saying this was the fallout and the feedback that was coming, right? But if we don't understand her mental state, first off, BPD, you're going to have problems with relationships. ADHD, you're going to have problems with relationships. PMDD, you're going to have problems with relationship. Covert narcissism, you're going to have problems with relationships, right? These mental, I don't want to say illnesses, but we will say this neurodivergent world is introducing people to intimate relationships. And I'm not saying this just happened, but people are coming into relationships with real issues that requires real tools from a bi-directional perspective. In other words, they have to have tools to be able to emotionally regulate, and the person who they're with is going to have tools to emotionally regulate themselves and be able to have peace in that type of relationship. Are people who are neurotypical and neurodivergent compatible in intimate relationships? That's an interesting question. Are we all neurodivergent to some degree? Meaning, the rarest attachment form or attachment style is secure. And a secure attachment style can get pulled into the other three: dismissive avoidant, fearful avoidant, anxious preoccupied. Yeah, you can lose a grip on security. And this is just talking about the neurotypical people. Neurodivergent requires an entirely different set of skills to be able to manage in that type of relationship. Do you see? This is going to be heavy. How do you deal with your neurodivergent partner? What are some challenges for the neurotypical couple or person in a neurodivergent relationship? When I come forward, I'm opening up the phone lines. Have you ever dated somebody that was bipolar? Have you ever dated somebody that had BDP or BPD? I'm thinking of KRS1. Have you ever dated somebody with BPD, bipolar disorder or borderline personality disorder? If so, what were the challenges? When we come forward, I'm opening up the phone lines. It's going to be a doozy tonight. Let's get it.
Reasons. The reasons that we're here, the reasons that we fear, our feelings won't disappear. You're listening to the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580. Pizza's here.
Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issue.
What up, y'all? Get to your phone lines. I want to talk to people. I know this is an interesting topic. Let's go. Call me. ADHD. Humanity is like a box of chocolates. Everybody hit the like button. We got 117 people in here tonight. Can I get everybody to shoot a little something to my Cash App? Moderators, assemble. Everybody, please support this show by dropping $2 or $3 on the Cash App. Support. Moderators, assemble. We're all wired differently. Yeah.
Visit leadfilter.com/beacon to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off today.
The Cash App is in the super chat or in the chat. If you'd rather use the super chat, that is the $ down at the bottom of the chat. Hit the $, drop a couple of coins on tonight's topic if you're enjoying what I'm laying down.
Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a Pfizer vaccine that can help protect you against pneumococcal